And welcome to another edition of Talkline. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you for a special event brought to you by the Council for a Secure America that wants America to be self-sufficient, independent of Middle Eastern oil. We'll take you to the proceedings, some of the personalities at the Bentley Hotel in Manhattan at their gathering right after these messages. Stay tuned.
If you have diabetes and love food, pay attention to this free offer.
Hi, I'm Nicole Johnson, Miss America 1999. I've had diabetes since 1993, and I hate boring food. Well, I got these 3 free cookbooks with fantastic tasting recipes for people with diabetes. If you have diabetes and have Medicare, you can get these cookbooks free.
Call now to qualify for not 1, not 2, but 3 free cookbooks. Call 1-800-753-6314.
You'll love this rich chocolate cake, oven-fried chicken, and nachos. You'll also get this free meal planning guide and diabetes magazine. So call now for your free Better Care Kit with 3 free cookbooks.
To qualify, call 1-800-753-6314. That's 1-800-753-6314.
An important alert for people using the drug Avandia. The diabetes drug Avandia has been linked to serious heart-related injury and even death. If you or a loved one used Avandia and suffered a heart attack, heart failure, stroke, or heart-related death, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation.
Call 1-800-460-5950.
Recent congressional reports and FDA studies have found an increased risk of heart attacks and heart failure in patients using the drug Avandia. Time to file a claim is limited.
Call 1-800-460-5950.
Holly's discovered a secret that could help thousands of other catheter users.
For years, I never realized how different catheter supplies really were.
Like thousands of Liberator customers nationwide, Holly discovered the big difference Liberator makes with a wide range of personal services, unlike other catheter suppliers.
Liberator Medical saves you money.
Liberator contacted my doctor and made arrangements for me to try catheters that were easier to use, much more comfortable, all for free. And they helped me qualify for a new sterile catheter every time I needed one. No more reusing.
We work with your doctor, insurance, and Medicare. We handle all the paperwork and billing. There's free shipping for little or no out-of-pocket costs.
If you or someone you care for uses catheters, call today. See what makes Liberator so different and for little or no out-of-pocket costs.
The minute you make the phone call, you're going to see the difference.
Call 1-800-628-2454. 1-800-628-2454.
Are you stressed over credit cards and other debts, maybe through no fault of your own? Imagine how it would feel to have that weight lifted right off your shoulders. Well, here's some good news from America's trusted name in debt relief. Care One providers have already helped over 4.5 million people in debt, and we can help you today. Just call this toll-free number to speak with a friendly representative, and in just minutes, you'll get your free debt relief analysis.
Just call the toll-free number today.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you for the Council for Secure America's special event in New York City. We'll be right back after these messages. We're speaking with Judith O'Neill. She is event co-chair of the Council for Secure America, a wonderful event in Manhattan, and she also is the COO of CMAS. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So just for our audience, this is a wonderful event. You bring a lot of people to make sure that we are energy independent.
Right. And energy informed. It's largely educational about what energy independence means to the United States, means to us as U.S. citizens, means to our visitors to the United States, means to our economy and our personal safety.
You know, this is something which is so important for Americans of all backgrounds, all ethnic groups, yet we don't see a lot of people paying enough attention to a very crucial issue. We talk about the economy being bad. If we be energy independent, I think we'd see a much improved economy.
Well, I think that's very accurate, and the people in Department of Energy, for example, in Washington would agree with you tremendously. They have watched the transition of the United States from an energy importing country to the point of $1.5 billion per day to Iran, for example, at our peak, we're very close to energy self-sufficiency now, in large part due to new technologies that allow us to access natural resources in the United States for our fossil fuel needs so that we can work on our renewable energy needs toward the future.
You mentioned about informing the public. How do we get the public more aware of something so important? It's so basic, it's so logical, but people don't think about it.
That's right. CSA is dedicated to that. That basically is their mission. There are other groups. American Jewish Committee, for example, does seminars on this all the time, on what energy independence means, energy security means. The Canadian consulate, the German consulate in New York, a good amount of Europe. The world is starting to realize the importance of energy independence of each country because we're all in this together, and our countries are codependent. So as the energy consumption of developing countries right now is growing dramatically, like China and India, our energy consumption in the United States and in the OECD countries is declining. And that, combined with our accessing our natural resources in the United States, is what is leading us to be energy self-sufficient now that we never thought we could be. We've been trying for this for over 40 years.
Wow.
And in the last 5 years, we're getting there.
Wonderful. Kudos to you and the CSA, the Council for Secure America, for raising awareness and working with producers here in this country and other elected officials to make sure we become actually more secure by becoming independent. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to find out today answers to important issues relating to shale deposits, fracking, horizontal drilling, renewables, energy efficiency. We'll hear discussion about, is there really environmental concerns? What's the truth? What's the reality behind a lot of the agitation concerning fracking? We're going to hear about many things relating to this important issue. The program is sponsored by the Council for a Secure America. The CSA is a not-for-profit organization that has brought together independent oil and gas producers in the United States and friends and supporters of Israel. And they have a mutuality of interest. They want to be able to get the United States out from under the yoke of the OPEC cartel, to not be so reliant upon Middle East oil, to be able to be energy independent, to be able to have a foreign policy evolve which is not contingent upon whether or not we're going to have a need for a continued oil supply from the Middle East.
It's been a while since we had the former Attorney General of New York, Bob Abrams, with us, and he's a co-chair of this special event for the Council for a Secure America. He also serves on the board. Good to have you back.
It's great to be with you, Zeb.
By the way, do you miss politics? You were the Attorney General. Do you miss not having that political day-to-day operation?
Well, since I left office, and this is now 20 years, I've tried to strike a balance. I'm not totally out of it. I try not to get sucked into it.
But once it's in blood, isn't it always there?
Well, so I'm still very involved with the attorneys general around the country. I go to all the meetings of the National Association with Attorneys General. I actually take a delegation of attorneys general to Israel every year.
Oh, very nice.
And I introduce them to the whole Middle East issues in Israel. They go to my son-in-law and daughter and 4 grandchildren and live in Yerushalayim. My son-in-law is a modern Orthodox rabbi. He created a synagogue. I take them for Shabbat services, and there they are, dancing around the bima. Dustin McDaniel from Arkansas, Roy Cooper from North Carolina, Bob Cooper from Tennessee, and we're dancing around the bima to the Carl Bach melodies. And they come for Shabbos dinner to my daughter and son-in-law's home. So they beside meeting with, the president, the justices of the Supreme Court, getting briefings from government officials. This way they get a flavor of Yiddishkeit and the Jewish state and why people from America make Aliyah. So believe me, Zev, I'm kept very busy doing a lot of different things. In fact, my daughter and son-in-law hosted Cory Booker and his parents when he visited Israel within the last year. So.
I know you still are. I was just wondering if you miss being in political office, but you're behind the scenes. You're doing a lot, sure.
Well, I'm still very involved in Jewish life, and
of course, this organization where you're on the board, the whole event today you co-chaired, which was a marvelous event, by the way.
Great. You never know when you plan it how it's going to turn out, and I think the chemistry here was fabulous. People leaving were very excited. I didn't think on a Sunday morning when you start at 8:30 that people were going to stick around, and here we are. It's 1:30 after 1 o'clock, and people are still here. They were energized. They felt they learned a lot. They were motivated, energized, and I think they're fascinated by this whole notion of the revolution taking place, having America become energy independent, and the bringing together of oil and gas producers from all over the country together with supporters of Israel. I think it's a marvelous coalition.
No, absolutely. And as speaker after speaker said, America has the potential not only to be independent, but to be an exporter of oil and other resources, which is very good for our country, good for the world, because we shouldn't be so dependent on Middle East powers that blackmail us and have done that time and again. And every time something happens, the price of oil goes up here in the States.
Correct. And this has created the opportunity for people from Oklahoma, Texas, all over the country who are not from the Jewish community to go visit Israel. I was on the mission to Israel, and we had a meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And Harold Hamm and others were just so impressed with the Prime Minister and with Israel itself. They become now strong supporters of Israel. So this has enormous ramifications, both here in the United States, for Israel, and for public policy.
It's a win-win. Win-win for America, win-win for Israel, win-win for the West.
Correct. And a lot of people are even unaware of this enormous revolution that is taking place. Words like impossible, unbelievable. Could we in America, given what's happened in past decades, being so dependent upon the OPEC cartel in the Middle East, can we really discover, extract enough gas and oil which would not only satisfy our own needs, but also export to other countries, help our economy, and free us from the bondage of and the shackles of a foreign policy that is not in the best interest of America. So here we are in the midst of this revolution, and we need more and more people who understand in depth the issues to help it continue to move forward and not have roadblocks stand in its way.
Bob, thank you for your leadership and your work that you're doing together with Sandy and everybody else here. Really a marvelous event, and it's also an important one, too.
Always great to be with you.
Likewise, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, Zev.
Vance Long is a geologist. He comes from humble beginnings in Texas, and he's struck it rich in oil. And he's here today to not only be part of a panel, but also to talk about fracking and how we can become more independent. Good to have you back.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
So tell us, how did you go from humble beginnings to where you are today?
Well, it was not as humble as I expected. When I graduated with a geology degree, oil went to $8 a barrel. And so I started looking for a job and found out nobody was hiring. So my wife got a job as a police officer, and we actually lived on her income and her salary as I built my oil business. And I didn't strike it rich, but after a few years, we had a successful business.
No problem, but it's good to see you smiling, and you're here to really get the message across that we should be doing more fracking in New York. We can use you. Maybe the governor should see your presentation.
I think clearly I'm pro-industry, but I also believe that people should make their decisions based on being educated. And so what I'm here to do is to educate people. And if they disagree with me, then that's fine. I just want them to do so based on the facts and not based on a lot of opinions and a lot of inaccurate data that occurs out there. So I'm just encouraging people to educate themselves. And yes, it could benefit the state. It's benefited a lot of states. North Dakota, Texas has some of the lowest unemployment rates. Texas has no personal income tax. One of the reasons is because of the oil and gas taxes that come in through to the state. We have a rainy day fund in Texas that is entirely comprised of oil and gas taxes that come from the industry. So yeah, I think it provides jobs. It provides a lot of income to the state governments.
We can use that in New York, but I think one of the objections, at least in New York, has been, in other parts of the country as well, fracking may be wonderful, but it's going to hurt the environment.
We've been fracking for 60 years. Okay.
60 years.
60 years. We fracked the first well at least 60 years. We've been drilling horizontally for about 30 years. These are not new technologies, but we combine the two technologies, and the combination of those two have really opened up a lot of things. We have families. I have a mother. I don't want to spoil the environment. My buddy that lives here in Manhattan, he said, if we don't have clean water, then we have nothing. And I agree with him. We've been doing this safely. We're very regulated. And in fact, part of the discussion today is to talk about some of the misnomers about fracking and some of the issues that have been brought up, pardon me, by some of the movies that have come out that frankly don't properly illustrate the geological situation. I think that's one of the reasons they got me involved as a geologist, was to kind of explain some of that.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, and I hope your message resonates, because if we can get rid of all the taxes in New York, just have it covered by oil, hey, I think you're going to find a lot of support here.
It'd be a beautiful thing. Midland, Texas now has about a 3% unemployment rate. We're seeing the same thing in North Dakota, so it really impacts the local areas and the cities and the states as well.
We're happy to get your message out to the general. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Technological advancements have brought us to an exciting era of energy in America. My name is Vance Long. I'm an independent petroleum geologist from Abilene, Texas. As the search for alternatives continues, the fact remains that America needs oil and natural gas, and we can produce much of our needs right here in America. Energy produced on our land benefits everyone in America with high-paying jobs, landowner and royalty bonuses, and low consumer prices. By merging two technologies that are time-tested and proven, we have discovered a way to develop the vast resources that are available to us in the United States. Horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing are what makes this age of exploration possible. This technology has opened up vast new areas for oil and gas development that we did not believe we could produce years ago. Hydraulic fracturing is not a new process. We've been doing it and doing it safely for 60 years. The difference is now we are able to drill horizontally and explore a much larger area. In order to protect the fresh water tables, we drill an initial vertical hole with pipe set well below the fresh water. Then we surround the pipe with cement. This 3-inch thick cement wall provides extra protection beyond the steel pipe it encases. After we set and cement this initial string of pipe to protect the fresh water, we begin drilling the longer vertical hole. Thousands of feet, sometimes several miles below the freshwater, the drilling turns horizontal and may continue for as much as 2 miles. We then drill the remainder of the hole to total depth and run another string of pipe to the end of the wellbore. We surround this pipe with cement as well. Hydraulic fracturing creates cracks in the oil and gas-bearing rock. The cracks are tiny, but they open pathways for the oil and gas to travel to the wellbore. Usually, the hydraulic medium used to create these cracks or fractures is water. Sand is included to prop open the small cracks to allow better flow rates of oil and gas. In fact, 99.51% of all the fluids used in this procedure is simply sand and water. The less than 0.5% left is mostly common household products like detergent. This process can be repeated one section at a time, up to 30 times along as much as 9,000 feet of the horizontal wellbore. On the surface, operators use sophisticated computer controls to monitor the exact location and progress of the hydraulic fracturing in real time. Once the fracturing is completed, the equipment is removed, a permanent wellhead is installed, and a pipeline is built to transport the oil and gas to the pipeline network. After this process, the land is restored to its former condition. With the combination of hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, the abundant but previously non-productive oil and natural gas reservoirs are transforming the future energy supply of our country. Hydraulic fracturing is expanding our energy horizons here in the United States with a combination of new technology, proven techniques, and with regard for our land, life, and water.
We're going to be right back with our very special broadcast originating from the Council for Secure America's special reception at the Bentley Hotel in Manhattan.
This is the Jewish Basketball Hall of Fame, the most complete action-filled history ever of the legendary Jewish basketball players of the 20th century. This video library is comprised of rare vintage action footage of every player. Here are the Jewish stars and superstars of basketball in all their glory, in their prime, all together for the first time anywhere. There has never been anything like this before. The Jewish Basketball Hall of Fame brings to life an elite Jewish sports tradition filled with Jewish pride. Here they are, the Jewish basketball stars and superstars who, until now, have only lived in nostalgic memory.
I've been making credit card payments for years, but the balance never seems to go down.
Well, no matter how high your debts are, at Jordan McKenna, we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you. We'll match you with a reputable law firm who will negotiate and reduce your credit card balances. Stop those harassing collection calls. They'll even design an affordable monthly payment plan that fits your budget. You could save thousands of dollars. Call Jordan McKenna right now for a no-obligation consultation. It's that easy.
Call today, 888-685-1433.
Kosher Expeditions operates year-round tours with delicious glatt kosher cuisine cooked fresh on site to over 30 of the world's most exotic destinations. Relax at our 7-year running Passover holiday adventure at our Kosher Le Pesach luxury beachside resort in Costa Rica. Breathtaking ocean views, exotic wildlife, inspiring lectures, children's programming, and exciting Costa Rican adventure tours during Chol Hamoed. Come tour with the most established kosher tour operator since 1994. Call Kosher Expeditions at 877-JT-KOSHER, kosherexpeditions.com, the source for exciting worldwide kosher adventure.
Are you stressed over credit cards and other debts, maybe through no fault of your own? Imagine how it would feel to have that weight lifted right off your shoulders. Well, here's some good news from America's trusted name in debt relief. Care One providers have already helped over 4.5 million people in debt, and we can help you today. Just call this toll-free number to speak with a friendly representative, and in just minutes, you'll get your free debt relief analysis.
Just call the toll-free number today.
I've been on a lot of TV shows, but one of my favorites is Zev Brenner on Talkline. I love this show. I love this network. I love talking about my books, my activities with Zev Brenner. Good questions, good listeners, always get a good response.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the Council for Secure America's special reception at the Bentley Hotel in New York City.
The whole discussion here today is about shared values. Shared values is wonderful if you're familiar, if you're interested, if you're knowledgeable. But I want you to know that our research shows that the vast majority of Americans is not only not informed, not only uninterested, not only unfamiliar, but the worst thing, they're apathetic. They don't care about shared values. They don't care about the fact that you have an outpost of American values in the Middle East. They don't care about the fact that the only country in our part of the world that stands for the same values is Israel. They don't care about that, and it's our job to celebrate the fact that we do have an outpost, an extension of America in the Middle East. And I think that I should be thanking each and every one of you here today for being part of this great initiative, of this great organization, of this great conversation that is all about fortifying the tie between Israel and the United States. God bless you and Shavua Tov.
How can you help the Council? We're a tax-exempt educational entity. If you agree with what you heard this morning, go back to your communities and share with them what you learned. Tell them how important America's energy independence is to both America and Israel. Tell them that it can be achieved within the decade in an environmentally responsible way. And you can please fill out the form in your folder so we can be in touch with you as to further activities of the Council, including our trips to the oil fields to see what's being drilled and how fracking works.
We're standing with Sandy Eisenstadt, co-chair of the Council for a Secure America. He's so much involved in the Jewish community. I wanted to thank you for inviting me. The first time I've been at the Council. What a great event.
Yes, it was, thank God. Beautiful day and wonderful people, and we're happy to have you here with us.
You know, it's such an important concept that we have to be energy independent in the States. Most people are not cognizant of the fact of what's going on, but I think what the speakers after speaker brought out this special session is that we need to do it. It's not a question of if, but we must.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the remarks I made was that when I was a kid growing up, we loved this country. It was a great country, but none of us ever thought it would be in the position energy-wise that it is today, thanks to people like Harold Hamm, who have been able to bring us to the point where we are almost energy independent, and within the next few years we will be exporting oil and gas to the world. I mean, it's amazing. And its impact is beyond financial. Sure, it will affect the finances of America. Sure, it will impact our balance of payments. But it also will free us politically and not have to deal with those countries and give them more resources to pay the lunatics that are trying to kill us and blow up the Trade Center. I mean, it's amazing. And, of course, the impact it has on the America-Israel relationship. It will enable America to be freer and be able to act politically in the world that it really wants to do. So we are very excited about this relationship.
So tell us, how did you get involved? And let's look at the background of the Council for a Secure America. Because you're involved in so many different groups. What made you put your passion, your energy into this?
Oh, that's a pun, Zev. Very good. We were involved the first go-around. I forget who it was, but somehow we got involved. What's a Jewish boy getting involved with oil and gas? I actually got involved because I'm a tax lawyer and took some courses in oil and gas taxation. I remember remarking to the guy sitting next to me at NYU, what the heck am I learning about oil and gas taxation from? And it just changed my whole life. So I did some work in that area. We did a lot of drilling, actual drilling in the U.S. and even in Israel. And it became very interesting to me, and that we got involved politically. I forget who asked me, but we got involved in the original Council for a Secure America, and we worked together with them. I remember going down to Texas with Bibi. He was then not obviously the Prime Minister, but he was then in a position to speak, and it was very effective. And then, as Malcolm noted in the course of the proceedings today, we didn't have a need for it, so it closed down, and now we reincarnated it at a time when we really have a need for this organization. And what's amazing is we have these Gentile friends and partners from down south who work together with us, and we work together beautifully. We took them over to Israel, and they saw how wonderful Israel is, and many of them came to me and said, you've changed our lives. We have a whole new view of Israel and how important it is to America. And we've learned about the oil and gas and how important it is to us here in America. So it's a wonderful shidduch.
You know, what I find amazing that you're able to take people who are supportive of Israel and people who also have economic interests regarding making sure that America is self-sufficient, and you put them all together. It's a nice shidduch.
It's a beautiful shidduch. Now we got to find the shadchan.
You got to get your shadchan fee.
Right? No, we don't need the fee. The fee will be when we succeed, and we can be free, and we can and the two democracies of the world can work together and get the results that we all want.
Sam, I want to thank you again for inviting me. I learned a lot by being here and knowing that we can just take a little more time, a little more effort. We can, and this is going to be more energy efficient and sufficient and independent. And I really didn't realize.
You understand, Zev, it's not just oil and gas that's on the agenda of the council. So, for example, everybody knows that America gives Israel a lot of foreign aid, welcome foreign aid. and it's a great friend in the UN and wherever it has to. But what they don't know, and what we have to try to show them is that Israel reciprocates. Israel gives to America intelligence. Israel's on the front line of fighting terrorism. Israel gives to America technology, both civilian and military. And these are things that the Council is going to be bringing to the forefront in years to come, to which you will be invited.
Thank you. I look forward to that. Thank you for the
you.
good work that you're doing. Mark Brownstein is a presenter today. He's the Chief Counsel, Energy Program, EDF, and Environmental Defense Fund. And I know you're going to be talking today about the fact that people may have the wrong facts. So what is the true facts about the environment and oil exploration here in this country?
Well, there's no question that these new resources are a big game changer for energy and the economy in the U.S., but there are significant environmental challenges that come along with developing the resource, both in terms of what happens at the well site, but also in terms of air emissions, pollution that comes from the production that leads to global climate change.
So should we be concerned or not concerned about the environment?
Well, what we need to be concerned about is doing this right. Okay? There are ways to minimize the risks associated with producing this, but those risks aren't going to manage themselves. We need a combination of good regulation, and we also need responsible development to protect public health and the environment.
Thank you for sharing with us, and look forward to hearing more, because I think that's the future. We've got to become energy independent, and we have to, of course, in a responsible way, but at the end of the day, it's good for America.
It's good for America if we can do this right.
The lesson of 70 years ago is never again. Never again is not a hollow phrase that we yell at rallies. Never again is a pledge that every generation, and I believe Jews and non-Jews alike, has to take. It's a statement that we will not forget the lessons of the past, that we will learn, and that we will make sure that future generations are provided the security and safety that was denied to people 70 years ago. And it's not just about Jews. It is why we speak out about the persecution of Christians from Indonesia to Libya to Nigeria to Iran and to Syria. Thousands of Christians are being executed every year with hardly an outcry in the world. And that's why the Jewish community has been in the forefront, because never again means for all people that we will never be silent in the face of persecution. We will not allow a world to disregard the rights and safety of anybody, because it puts everybody's safety at risk. And key to this is achieving energy independence for the United States, so it's not subject to the blackmail and undue influence of others. It's key to the security of the world, and all of us have a responsibility to look for ways that we can come together and find common approaches to assure for future generations a better future.
Good to see Malcolm Holine, Executive Vice Chairman of the conference. I hear it's called the Council of Presidents of Major American or Jewish Organizations.
It's flexible.
It's flexible. Very much involved so much in the Jewish community, and also helping with the Council for a Secure America. And I think you spoke beautifully today, and one of the points that you made is that we, I don't mean the Jewish people, but we as a society don't learn much from history, which really affects our future.
Today, people have no patience for history. We don't have time to even research facts. Everything is so blatant, and because of the flow of information or the instant nature of it, people have no chance to go in depth. And if you don't understand what's beneath the surface, that we're being dominated by an atmosphere of superficiality, where you only look at the surface facts, and that leads to misguided policies. It leads to the kind of consequences that we've seen in recent weeks. That if you know the lessons of history, if you see how past negotiations with dictators, how you deal with a country like Iran, you'll understand how to deal with them today. And there's only one day, and that's strength. And if they see weakness, they're going to exploit it. They will take advantage of it. And if we take deals that we think can be interim deals, they're not reversible. We've learned that in the past, and it's true today as well.
2 weeks before the revolution broke out in Syria, you had met with President Assad of Syria, and perhaps share with our audience what transpired during that meeting and what relevance it has for us today.
Well, a lot happened. I spent 3 hours with him alone, and we covered many issues. The first hour, I would say, he was testing me, and then the second hour really opened up. But one of the things he told me is that if the revolution that took place in Egypt and Tunisia ever came to Syria, he would never step down. That he would get out, but the Alawites, his people, would be massacred. He said, I know the hatred for them. I know what the consequences will be, and that they will be massacred. And I told this to administration officials, that we have to understand this is not Gaddafi or Mubarak. This guy's not going to leave. It's going to be a fight to the death. because they feel they have no choice. Had we offered choice, had we created safe zone, had we done other things, I think we could have ameliorated the situation, even if not cured it. But Assad understood full well what the implications of this was. But he didn't have the capacity at that point anymore to address it. What he could do was to ally himself with Iran, dig in, and to fight and use whatever means are necessary. And now 100,000, some say 200,000 people have paid with their lives.
And unfortunately, you communicated this to our government, and they didn't pay attention to it, as they don't learn the histories of the past.
There is a tendency not to look for the antecedents to how we got here, because it would have been understood that for 20 years we negotiated with the Iranians. We negotiated with Rouhani from 2003 to 2007. The current president, everybody is putting so much hope in, wrote books saying how he lied, how he obfuscated. Why don't we just listen to his own words? In this May, he gave a speech where he said, I was the one who started the initiation of the centrifuges. I was the one who did all of this while fooling the West, while negotiating. So he said, I'm going to be the strongest one on this. And they say we will never give up the right for the centrifuges to enrich at whatever degree we want. And the West doesn't listen. We don't hear what they have to say. Look at the people they're appointing. He's appointing the guy as defense minister who was responsible for the death of 241 Marines in Lebanon. The other hardliners who are coming into power. That's the real nature of this government. And the only debate in Tehran is not 3.5% enrichment, 5%. It's whether you have to yell death to America, whether it's mandatory to yell it at any public gathering. And it is.
Unbelievable. Before I let you go, and these are certain very important issues that we have to learn, and what makes us, the more energy efficient we are, the better off we all are. I'm just curious, have you had any communication with President Assad since the revolution? Did he try reaching out to you again?
No, unfortunately, he thinks that my visit was probably part of the build-up to the
part of the revolutionary, right?
And you know, he's subject to a lot of conspiracy theories. I was not able to communicate again with him, and it's very hard now to call into Syria.
He doesn't answer his phone calls anymore.
Collect, you know.
Doesn't answer. What was the disturbance that you were invited to Syria?
They had negotiated with us for a long time, for several years, but I kept saying, I understand what they get out of it. I want to know what we get out of it. And when they gave me some assurances on certain issues that I was concerned about and still am concerned about, that night decided that it was time to go.
As always, Malcolm, good to see you. Malcolm Holine, the conference, good to see you.
And thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Great job. We're going to be right back with our very special broadcast, originating from the Council for Secure America's special reception at the Bentley Hotel in New York City.
Holly's discovered a secret that could help thousands of other catheter users.
For years, I never realized how different catheter supplies really were. Liberator contacted my doctor and made arrangements for me to try catheters that were easier to use, much more comfortable, all for free. And they helped me qualify for a new sterile catheter every time I needed one. No more reusing. The minute you make the phone call, you're going to see the difference.
Call 1-800-627-2821.
Do you take prescription medications? Are you spending money for them every month? Do you want them for free? Call the free prescription hotline to qualify for free brand name prescriptions and medical supplies. If you are insured, uninsured, or a Medicare beneficiary, your brand name prescriptions could be free. Call the free prescription hotline to see if you're eligible for the new programs and receive your brand name medications free.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald, Medical Director of the Free Prescription Hotline. We can now offer the 2010 expanded programs for free prescription medications. So many people do not take advantage of the benefits they're entitled to because they don't call. When you call the Free Prescription Hotline, you'll find out if your medications and medical supplies could be free.
Call now. All callers will receive a free prescription savings card. Don't miss the deadline. Call the Free Prescription Hotline now.
Call 1-800-603-7920. That's 1-800-603-7920.
If you've ever considered hosting your own radio or TV show, then we can help you. Talkline Communications works with individuals and groups interested in broadcasting on radio and TV. Ideal for lawyers, doctors, financial advisors, organizations, or anyone interested in broadcasting. Talkline works with various TV and radio stations in New York and around the country that lease airtime at competitive rates so we can pass on that savings to you. For more information, call us at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925.
Kosher Expeditions provides unique activity-based tour vacations with delicious glatt kosher cuisine, cooked fresh on site to over 30 of the world's most exotic destinations, including Costa Rica, the Canadian Rockies, Spain, and African safari. Relax at our 7-year-running Passover holiday adventure located at our Kosher LePesach luxury beachside resort in Costa Rica. Enjoy breathtaking ocean views surrounded by exotic wildlife on an all-inclusive Pesach vacation that includes inspiring lectures, children's programming, and exciting Costa Rican adventure tours during Chol Hamoed. Kosher Expeditions operates year-round tours, offering all-inclusive travel programs to custom and private groups, students, camps, young adults, and regularly scheduled departures. Come tour with the most established kosher tour operator since 1994. Call Kosher Expeditions at 877-JT-KOSHER or visit them online at kosherexpeditions.com, the source for exciting worldwide kosher adventure.
If you have diabetes and love food, pay attention to this free offer.
Hi, I'm Nicole Johnson, Miss America 1999. I've had diabetes since 1993, and I hate boring food. Well, I got these 3 free cookbooks with fantastic tasting recipes for people with diabetes. If you have diabetes and have Medicare, you can get these cookbooks free.
Call now to qualify for not 1, not 2, but 3 free cookbooks. Call 1-800-753-6314.
You'll love this rich chocolate cake, oven-fried chicken, and nachos. You'll also get this free meal planning guide and diabetes magazine. So call now for your free Better Care Kit with 3 free cookbooks.
To qualify, call 1-800-753-6314. That's 1-800-753-6314.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you from the Council for Secure America's special reception at the Bentley Hotel in Manhattan.
We have some battles out there that loom and some issues that we have to fight. And we can't do it alone. You know, the independence of this country, you know, we're fighting on a lot of different fronts. And it takes friends in other places, friends that's aligned with our interests. And certainly CSA was put together because of that alliance. We realized that, yeah, we have friends that can help us get the job done.
We're speaking with Harold Hamm. He's a co-chair of the Council for Secure America, also chairman and chief executive officer of Continental Resources, very much involved in making us energy sufficient. Good to have you.
Hey, it's good to be here.
So how are we doing overall in getting us off our dependency of oil and having everything done here so we become more sufficient? Are we making a lot of progress?
Well, the independent producers like Continental, in 2011, you know, we put a stake in the ground, said that we could be energy sufficient in this country in the next 10 years, in the next decade. And at that time, we had some people skeptic. They doubted that. But since then, they found out that it is possible. We are getting there. I'm sure that you probably saw the Wall Street Journal article recently that said that yes, by 2020 we could be energy sufficient and independent in this country.
Now, the Council for Secure America is here to make sure that we are independent. How did you come up with this idea to work as a group, as a consortium of individuals to make sure that we are secure? And one way of being secure, of course, is being energy independent.
Well, we made friends a long time ago with this group back in the 1980s.
That far back?
That far back. And so we've been friends an awfully long time. And, you know, we have an alignment of interest. And our interest as domestic energy producers make sure that this industry stays strong and isn't hurt. And so the interest that we share is that if we're able to produce energy in this country, you know, we're not held hostage by other countries that might not see, might not have our interests at heart.
Right. And so we're talking about producing how many barrels of oil a day for us to be sufficient?
Well, you know, in the past few years, America got up to importing 60% of its energy needs. And we've reversed that trend. It's down right now to 35%. and we're on a track that, we'll see it by 2020 that we'll be completely energy independent in this country. And it's all due to one thing, and that is the ability to drill down 2 miles, turn right, go 2 miles further if necessary, and rock that we used to didn't think would produce. But, this is, we could only produce the rock that was in conventional reservoirs. Today, we're producing the source beds themselves. So it's a whole different ball game. We saw this coming. Like I say, we put our stake in the ground a couple years ago and said we could get there, and it's happening today. And we appreciate this friendship.
No, it's important. I think that we have to drill into our elected officials' heads that we got to drill, right?
That's correct. We, we've been this country, of course, got to the prominence that it did, with oil and gas, and we just do what we know to do best, and certainly that's producing oil and gas. And this new method, that we've developed with space-age science over the last 10 years, it's led the way for what we're doing today.
Wonderful. Thank you for your leadership, for your vision, and with God's help, we will be energy sufficient, and the group will make sure that is, the Council for Secure America will make sure we're secure, and when we're being secure, we're not dependent on foreign oils and what they can do to our economy, which they've done in different times. So thank you.
And thank you very much. Good to be here with you.
Most of the exploitation of the resource base is done by thousands of very small operators, small companies, some of whom are around this room, some of whom are invested in by people around this room. No other country in the world has this wildcatting, greedy mentality. There's a second factor at work besides the greedy mentality. And by the way, Harold Hamm features in a book that was published a week ago by Greg Zuckerman of the Wall Street Journal called The Frackers. It was going to be called Meet the Frackers. I can use Meet the Frackers, but he couldn't use Meet the Frackers. It's a wonderful conversational book that puts reality behind the numbers. It's not just the people at work on the wildcatting side, but there are two other factors at work. The second is that the capital markets of North America are truly unique, not as unique as the fracking wildcatting mentality, but really unique, shared by Canada, shared by Australia to some degree, New Zealand to some degree, Colombia actually, Argentina to a bit, the UK to a bit, and that is capital markets that put up risk capital to do risky things. And of course, the private equity firms or the private investors that do that expect a higher return on the investment than a large multinational company might. But the capital markets are a very important factor in putting to work the relatively cash-poor companies that are independent and doing the drilling. And the third in this Made in America story is property rights. The United States happens to be the only country in the world where people can own mineral rights and where they can negotiate those mineral rights and get a return on them, not only through a lease of acreage, permitting wildcatting, but a lease on acreage that permits development, and then get a share, a nice share of a sixth or a seventh or an eighth of the revenue stream even before cost recovery comes.
The need for a cure for carbon has changed how humans view energy around the world. This is not alternative energy. This is reliable, technologically mature, affordable, and growing renewable energy. Our country, men and women in the U.S., support renewable energy. Recent polling reflects a large majority of Americans, 70%, support stable and long-term policies for renewable energy that can expand our markets and business places. And that's why ACOR educates, convenes, and advocates for strong and consistent policies. Policy certainty enables all of the economic and environmental advantages of producing clean, renewable energy. The horizon is clear to me today. Today, China, with all their grave environmental threats to their well-being, is on top of global renewable energy, increasing investments in renewables by 20% in 2012 to $65.3 billion, 55% more than the second-ranked country, the United States. We admit China is an impressive model for a world looking to find success in renewable energy production. But they're only in the game because their backs are up against the wall. And guess who owns all the coal mines and coal-fired plants in China? The People's Republic of China government. Now more than ever, it is certain and important that renewable energy, as we meet our goals and expectations, that we have supportive global renewable energy policies that do not fade. For policy certainty is like the stars by which we navigate, best when clear and bright. Uncertainty hurts business.
We're speaking once again with Bob Sugarman. He is chairman of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, formerly with ADL, very much involved in Jewish life. And he's here at the Council for a Secure America because of the fact that it's important. It's not only to the Jewish community, but it's an American issue.
It's definitely an American issue. Energy independence is a huge issue for the United States, and I think this is a wonderful effort to enhance that.
What can we, all of us, be doing to get this message across to the general public? Because as I was just talking to some other people here, it's an issue that's so important, but yet very few Americans really pay enough attention to it.
I think this, as in all things, is a matter of education and getting out there and sending the message. I think Americans understand the problem of being dependent on foreign oil, and they would like very much to lessen that dependence. And this is one of the ways in which you can do that. And the challenge that we have is to get out there and educate and publicize.
As chairman of the Conference of Presidents, really represent the body of American Jewry, over 53 organizations that belong. What work are you doing to ensure that some of these groups also bring home their message to their constituents?
Well, we share the information with all our member organizations, and we urge them to share it with their constituents. And so it's a way in which the conference, as in many things, can make information available to the whole spectrum of the Jewish community, religiously, politically.
Right, left, everybody in between.
Right, left, everybody in between, and encourage our member organizations to disseminate the information to their members. And it's a huge audience that we've got in the Jewish world. And to the extent that we can make information available to them, and them to their constituents, we will go a long way to doing what I said before, is educating about the importance of energy independence.
May you continue to have the good energy to get this message across. Thank you for being with us once
again.
again.
To you. Thank you.
Are you stressed over credit cards and other debts, maybe through no fault of your own? Imagine how it would feel to have that weight lifted right off your shoulders. Well, here's some good news from America's trusted name in debt relief. Care One providers have already helped over 4.5 million people in debt, and we can help you today. Just call this toll-free number to speak with a friendly representative, and in just minutes, you'll get your free debt relief analysis.
Regardless of your situation, Care One has an option for you.
We are there to help, and we do that in a way that's empathetic and supportive without judging their financial situation.
The credit card companies, I feel, are trying to keep you in debt and trying to keep it so you owe them money forever. And Care One is a good way to get you out of that and get you out of it fast.
A big burden was lifted off of my shoulders.
Care One threw me a lifeline. Call Care One. They will help you.
Get debt relief from a company you can trust. Just call the toll-free number today.
I've been making credit card payments for years, but the balance never seems to go down.
Well, no matter how high your debts are, at Jordan McKenna, we're not here to judge you. We're here to help you. We'll match you with a reputable law firm who will negotiate and reduce your credit card balances. Stop those harassing collection calls. They'll even design an affordable monthly payment plan that fits your budget. You could save thousands of dollars. Call Jordan McKenna right now for a no-obligation consultation. It's that easy.
Call today, 888-685-1433.
This is the Jewish Basketball Hall of Fame. The most complete action-filled history ever of the legendary Jewish basketball players of the 20th century. This video library is comprised of rare, vintage action footage of every player. Here are the Jewish stars and superstars of basketball in all their glory, in their prime, all together for the first time anywhere. There has never been anything like this before. The Jewish Basketball Hall of Fame brings to life an elite Jewish sports tradition filled with Jewish pride. Here they are, the Jewish basketball stars and superstars who, until now, have only lived in nostalgic memory.
I've been on a lot of TV shows, but one of my favorites is Zev Brenner on Talkline. I love this show. I love this network. I love talking about my books, my activities with Zev Brenner. Good questions, good listeners, always get a good response.
Are you stressed over credit cards and other debts, maybe through no fault of your own? Imagine how it would feel to have that weight lifted right off your shoulders. Well, here's some good news from America's trusted name in debt relief. Care One providers have already helped over 4.5 million people in debt, and we can help you today. Just call this toll-free number to speak with a friendly representative, and in just minutes, you'll get your free debt relief analysis.
Just call the toll-free number today.
Are you in business? A store owner, wholesaler, or manufacturer? Do you know you may be eligible for free television and radio advertising? Millions of dollars are lost every year by businesses not taking advantage of free radio and television advertising. Don't lose out. Advertising is the lifeline of any business, large or small. For free consultation, call us in the New York area, 212-769-1925. Out of New York, 866 My TV Show.
We hope you've enjoyed our very special broadcast originating from the Council for Secure America's special reception at the Bentley Hotel in New York City. The Council's objective is to make sure our country is energy independent. For more information about the Council for Secure America, please visit or contact the information you see on screen. Please join us again next week, same time, same station here on the Talkline Communications Network. I'm Zev Brenner. Shalom.